Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. I have a Bachelor of Health Science Naturopathy and I'm a naturopath at Kayla the Nurturing Naturopath. Welcome to my podcast Awareness. And today I have Rochelle, founder of Share the Dignity with me. Hi Rochelle, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
I'm excited to have a chat.
Thank you, me too. Could you please tell us what Share the Dignity is?
Yeah, Share the Dignity is a national charity that I started back in 2015 when I read an article that talked about how there were women and girls who were experiencing homelessness in Australia and that they were having to use socks and newspaper and wadded up toilet paper to deal with their period. And I could not believe that this was happening in Australia. And
Yeah.
to be honest, when I Google searched it, after reading that article that Mamma Mia had written, it wasn't the first article to ever be written about the problem. And I thought, how do you just jog on from reading something like that? And at that stage, I had my own personal training business. I'm very interested in how what makes women tick and can exercise be fun and how can nutrition be balanced and all of those things that you're probably very interested in. And that was my day-to-day life. I had nothing to do with charities, but I knew that there wasn't a person that you and I would ever meet that wouldn't give a sister a pad or a tampon should they need it, right? And so I just had to make it super easy for people to be able to donate. And then how did we work with the charities who were already working with the women that we were both wanting to make sure didn't end up in period poverty?
Wow, yeah, it's amazing. And what are like the Dignity vending machines and whereabouts are they located?
Yeah, so we currently hold drives in March and August, and that's where you'll find collection boxes be in every Woolworths store around Australia, but also a lot of local businesses. And it's all about how do we get people to lend their voice to ensuring that there isn't a person in Australia who doesn't know that the problem exists, because I don't believe that there's anyone who wouldn't want to help. So in saying that, we've always given out packets of pads and tampons to the charities that we work with. But in 2016, I happened to be at a homelessness service, and a young lady had come up to the counter and said, "Oh, can I get some period products?" to two men who were behind the counter. And they said, "Do you know where the period products are?" And one guy said to the other, "Oh, yeah, they're upstairs." And he came down and he goes, "Do you want pads or tampons?" And I nearly died in my feet because I would never have been brave enough to go to the counter like she was in the first place. But then I didn't understand why she was having to ask for them. I thought that because we gave them the products that they would actually just put them in the bathrooms and people would be able to help themselves. Well, that was not the case. And it was not the case for many reasons anyway. And I said, "Oh, can you just give them both to her?" And off she went. And at that point, I got back on a plane to come back home from Melbourne, and was thinking there has to be a more dignified way for people to get access to period products. And the Dignity vending machine was born from that. It dispenses a free period pack. So the period pack is bespoke. It has 2 pads and 6 tampons. You can't buy it anywhere. It's only available in the vending machines. And therefore, the reason that they never put those period products in the toilets was that they were worried, and this is what had happened, that people were trying to take them back full to the shops to be able to swap it for food or other items.
Okay.
So the vending machine dispenses a free period pack. It also has a timing mechanism on it. And simply because I had a dream one night that a whole heap of kids at the school would press on the button and they were all on the floor. So the vending machine was the first of its kind in the world. There are now lots of different model types out there from other people from around the world. But the timing mechanism on it, you can time it so that it has a 1-minute delay or a 10-minute delay, so that you don't end up with that wastage.
That's brilliant.
We
Could
have
you tell us?
600 and I think we have 650 installed in Australia at the moment. And by the end of this year, I'm hoping there'll be 2,000.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Amazing.
Yeah. COVID really slowed us down.
Yeah, I know. It brought the whole world to a grinding halt,
I know.
unfortunately. We're all
So we
trying
did
to.
very little installs in that 2 years. So my goal of having reached 1,000 during COVID was like a bit of a slap in the choppers.
Yeah, it's hard, but I'm
But
sure
I
you'll
think
get there.
everybody's dreams got put on hold for a while.
They did. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
by the end of this year, it'll all be out there and
we're
going.
on
So
it.
that will be really good.
Yeah. And periods don't stop for pandemics, right? So it just made
No,
it
that's
harder for
right.
people who were experiencing period poverty in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly. Could you please tell us what the bloody big survey is?
Yeah, so the Bloody Big Survey is a survey that we conducted in 2021, which asked 35 questions of 125,000 respondents. So it is the biggest body of data that the world has ever seen on menstruation. We are rolling out another Bloody Big Survey this year. So in 1st of March, it will go open. My goal is to have 500,000 respondents. I want everyday people to respond to help us, because the changes that we've seen since collecting that data has been things like period products available in all schools across Australia because of that data. Period products available in hospitals, period products now being available in workplaces, education in across different organisations. It's incredible, and that can only be done with data.
Yeah, exactly right. So
Yeah,
without that, we wouldn't have known this, and it wouldn't have been as widely available as it is now. And I think it's
absolutely.
something we sort of, take for granted that, we've got a period and we can just, go and pick up, pads or, whatever. But yeah, that's not necessarily the case.
No, it's not the case. And I can bet you it's not the case for about 3 million Australian menstruators right now. But we don't have the data. And when I say I want the data, I want at least 500,000. I also need it to be a cross population between our everyday donors. I want it to be from kids. I want it to be in remote Indigenous schools. I want it to be in drought-stricken farming areas. I want our charities to see how many of their people that they can get to respond, because when we did the survey last time, we found that 1 in 4 of those 125,000 respondents had been through period poverty. Now, that's when you're unable to afford period products to be able to deal with your period. Now, those 1 in 4, I bet you they are just people like you and I who were answering that survey. I can't imagine what that number would be when we throw the net a lot wider.
Yeah, wow. And could you tell us what the period pride competition is?
Yeah, the period pride competition is like one of my favorite things. It's where we ask schools and organizations to get involved. We know that eradicating period poverty requires a multi-pronged approach. So yes, we can get products into the hands of those that need them. 2, we need to remove the shame and stigma. And 3, we need to educate. Now, we can get products into schools. We can get products to people who need them. We've now started to see education rolled out a little bit differently in Australia. So for a very, very long time, boys were never educated about menstruation. And in actual fact, in Melbourne, only a couple of years ago, were the boys still asked to leave the classroom when the teacher would want to have a conversation around menstruation. Well,
Yeah,
that already starts shame and stigma, right? That's where it
exactly.
starts, right from there, and the whispering. So how do we get rid of that? And that was about creating period pride. So how do we get the students, how do we get the youth to be involved in coming up with a campaign, whether it be a TikTok, Indigenous artwork, a woven piece? We've seen some amazing pieces that have been submitted to us in the last couple of years. And we, most years, I think last year was our second one. The year before, I think the first year we had 50 who applied. Last year was 100. Next year we want 200 schools and organizations to submit their applications, because it's them who remove the shame and stigma, not us.
Exactly right. Oh, that's really cool. And how can people donate, whether that's, products for the menstruation or money or time?
Yeah, there's so many different ways. One, the most important thing anyone can ever give us is to use their voice to share the dignity. So having the conversation, which is what you're doing today, right? Having the conversation around menstruation and the lack of period products readily available to so many people in Australia. donate in March and August, buy period products, donate them at your local Woolworths. If you've got a business, get a collection box and be the voice, like a louder voice for that. Donate dollars. So never, ever will we ever get enough products donated that we will need, right? So we are always buying products. And we also do It's in the Bag, which is my favorite thing out of all of Share the Dignity. It is the thing that makes me cry, makes me laugh, makes me smile. It's where everyday Australians give a handbag, fill it with life's essentials, things like shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, soap, then period products, and drop it into their local Bunnings the last 2 weeks of November. We then get them out to every woman spending Christmas in a domestic violence shelter or experiencing homelessness. So before COVID, we would collect around 140,000 bags, but post-COVID, we have never reached 100,000 ever again. And so when we say donate some dollars, you could sponsor a bag and we'll put that bag together. I know on Australia Day this year, we are putting together 1,000 bags that will go out to remote Indigenous communities where they would otherwise not have their own toothbrush, shampoo and conditioner and deodorant, and let alone period products, right? So it's really important to never forget that while it's easy to help our sisters in our local area, it's much harder to help in those 2,200 remote Indigenous communities in Australia, and they are well worth helping.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's things, we pick up every day. So just as you're picking up something for yourself, just picking up something extra for someone else.
Absolutely. And, this year in 2024, my goal is that we collect 100,000 bags.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm
sure you'll get that
last
goal.
year we did 91,000, I think it was, something very close to 90,000. So 100,000. That's just about people knowing about it and knowing how easy it is to make a difference in somebody's life.
Exactly right. Oh, that's beautiful. Is there anything you want to recap or talk about that we haven't sort of spoken about?
No, I think probably the most important thing that anyone can take away from this conversation, I think, is the power that if you see a problem, you can be part of the solution, right? That if we're not part of the solution, then we're part of the problem.
Exactly right. Yeah, so talking, sharing, donating what you can, so important.
And if you can volunteer, we would love volunteers. Volunteers are more than a volunteer to us. They are our voice. They are advocates. They are the change makers in their neck of the woods that we can't be. We can't be everywhere. So we need other Rochelles everywhere.
Amazing, beautiful. And for further information or to donate or to volunteer, should people go to Share the Dignity website, Facebook page, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Head to our website, but follow us along on Facebook and Instagram. But if you wanted to connect directly to me, I would love to see you on LinkedIn, which is where I do most of my posting.
Amazing, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, making us more aware about Share the Dignity. I really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you. And thank you to everyone for listening. Have a great day and goodbye.